Welcome home! Healthy, organic, and easy by Michelle. Today we are making Welcome Home's healthy Korean kimchi recipe. Only 5 minutes. Kimchi is one of the staples of Korean food and is basically a spicy, fermented cabbage. It's so delicious and you can eat it with the rice, barbecue, and as a side dish with the Korean foods. Let me show you how you can make your own homemade fresh kimchi in 5 minutes. Later on, I will show you how to make a regular fermented kimchi. Let's make it! This portion is good for 2 or 3 people to share. Soak cabbage in cold water and some vinegar. Wash it and then dry the cabbage. Then, cut the cabbage into any size you want. Add some sliced carrot and scallions. This is a kimchi sauce from the freezer, which I will show you how to make later in the video. Add as much sauce as you want and mix well. If you like it spicier, you can add more sauce. Add 1 tablespoon of rice syrup and 2 tablespoons of sesame oil. Add some crushed sesame seeds. That's it! Isn't that super easy to make? Yes! And it looks so good and delicious. Now it's time to make fermented kimchi. First, we need to make a Korean soup broth for the kimchi sauce. I use a Korean soup broth because I don't use any MSG in my kimchi, so it's super healthy. Boil 2 liters of water in a pot. Add a half cup of dried shrimp, 1 cup of dry anchovy, a handful of dried sliced garlic, 1 cup of cut seitango, 1 white pot of big green onion, 1 organic onion, 1 inch thick sliced of radish. Close the lid and cook on high heat until water starts to boil. Once boiling, reduce to low to medium heat. Continue cooking for 20 minutes. Take the drainer out of the soup broth and let the broth cool down. I'm going to use 1 box of Korean cabbage, which will usually last for several months. If you want to make a smaller portion of kimchi, I will show you how to make a kimchi with 1 cabbage later in the video. Wash each cabbage thoroughly. They usually have more soil at the bottom. Cut cabbage into half and then cut each half into thirds. Chop cabbage into 1-inch slices or any size you want. Next, we need to salt the kimchi. You have to use thick sea salt. Add 1 cup of salt for every 2 cabbages. And the salt should be evenly distributed. So I usually cut 2 cabbages, add salt and mix, then cut 2 more, and then add more salt. Leave for 30 minutes and have to mix well. Then leave for 1 more hour. Look at him! He always wants to be around me. While cabbage is salting, let's get the other veggies ready. Cut 2 radish into 1-inch wide pieces and then cut each piece into thin slices. Add a half cup of salt and mix well. Wash thoroughly 10 minutes later. Cut 1 large organic carrot into thin slices using a food slicer. Cut 20 organic scallions into 2-inch pieces. Cabbage has been salting for 1.5 hours, so it's time to wash it. You will need an extra large plastic or metal towel. Wash salted cabbage thoroughly 3 times. Leave cabbage on a drainer for at least 30 minutes to dry it out. Let's make Welcome Home's healthy, super tasty kimchi sauce. I'm going to use a blender to mix all the ingredients. Cut and peel 1 organic apple and 1 Asian pear. Cut 3 organic onions. Add apple and pear to the blender. I'm going to add a little Korean soup broth so it blends well. Put blended apple and pear into a large pot. Next, blend the onions and 1 cup of white rice and a little soup broth. Add blended onions and rice to the pot. Blend 15 Korean red peppers. Add blended pepper to the pot. Blend the garlic and add a half cup of garlic puree. Add 2 teaspoons of organic ginger powder and the rest of a Korean soup broth. Add 2 cups of soy sauce. Two and a half tablespoons of salt. 8 cups of Korean red pepper powder. Mix well. Put cabbage in a large plastic tub. Add scallions, lettuce, and carrots, and kimchi sauce. Keep mixing and adding more kimchi sauce if you need. Looks so good and smells really good too. Leave out in a sealed container for 2 days at room temperature and then store in the refrigerator. Then you can enjoy fermented kimchi for months. Today's welcome home tip. I always make an extra kimchi sauce and pack rest of kimchi sauce separately and keep it in the freezer. So I can make a fresh kimchi whenever I want. When you pack the sauce in a Ziploc bag, turn the top of the bag inside out to keep from getting messy. Now I will show you how to make a kimchi with 1 cabbage. Cut cabbage into any size pieces you want. Add a half cup of salt. Add a half cup of water. Salt for 30 minutes and mix well. Salt for another 30 minutes and then wash the cabbage and dry it out. Add a quarter cup of carrots, quarter cup of sliced radish, 2 chopped scallions, and 1 cup of kimchi sauce. And mix well. So, if you have extra kimchi sauce in the freezer, you can make a fresh kimchi or fermented kimchi anytime you want. Hope you guys enjoy it!